Hello, Geneva. Welcome back to the Sports Shield podcast. Today is Friday, January 28th, and this week we have a action-packed divisional weekend from football last weekend, and we have a conference matchups this week. We're also introducing a little bit of NBA into this podcast this week.
So we'll get started with Bengals Titans. Very close game, very defensive centric. Bengals QB Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times, which is a tied a playoff record. But at the end of the day, the Titans QB Ryan Tannehill could not make a good throw, had 3 picks, and that's why they lost the game.
Yeah, it all came down to the final play of the game with Evan McPherson getting the kick. Before the kick was even had gone up, Evan came up to Joe Burrow and said, "It's nice to feel the Bengals are going back to the AFC Championship." Before he even made the kick, he was that confident in himself.
Yeah, that is supreme confidence right there. Uh, Next matchup is the Rams versus the Buccaneers. This was not a close matchup from the beginning. The Bucks came out flat. They had 3 points up until the middle of the third quarter. They came roaring back in a Brady-esque comeback. But at the end of the day, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford connection just killed them, and the Buccaneers really were hurting on the defensive end.
I mean, you just can't leave time for Matt Stafford. He might have been on the Detroit Lions for however many years it was, but I mean, still, they knew it then, and teams should know it for sure now. You cannot leave any time for Stafford, no matter how little time it is.
Yeah, the Rams really did everything to blow this game, but Stafford showed up big time, so it was good for him to get a win over Tom Brady. The next matchup, big shocker this weekend, 49ers versus the Packers. 49ers pull out the win without scoring an offensive touchdown. Aaron Rodgers looked pathetic out there, did not play good at all, and that's why they're going home this weekend. Jimmy Garoppolo did not look good either, but at the end of the day, the special teams won this game for the 49ers.
They had, I believe, it was 2 touchdowns, including a horrible special teams performance by the Packers. But there was also a blocked punt into the end zone, and that was huge to turn the tides of the game for the 49ers. But in the end, it came down to Robbie Gould, former rival of the Packers and former Bears kicker, Robbie Gould, kicking a game-winning field goal.
Yeah,
That was huge.
very
Now, the next game is a game that will go down in history as one of the greatest games of all time. Bills versus Chiefs. I believe it was 21 points scored in the final 2 minutes of the game. I mean, this game was insane. Now, it does really bring up a couple of big questions about overtime rules and all the fact that they went into overtime and Josh Allen chose a coin flip wrong and never got the ball back again. I think that's an issue with 2 high-powered offenses.
Yeah, Josh Allen not getting the ball back is a very tough one. If this were college rules, I say this game would have been in probably the 70s or maybe even the 80s because both quarterbacks were playing at the top of their game. Um, and when it came down to it, just came down to a coin flip. And if the Bills would have gotten it, I think they would have won the game. So this is a tough one for them.
I also think a big part of that is sadly injuries on the Bills. Tre'Davious White, who got injured way earlier in the season, if he was currently playing, I also think the Bills would have won that game, which is sad to see a team like the Bills, who are playing at their highest level we've seen them in a long time play at, fall down to the Chiefs, which I think are also a very high-powered team. Now we're on the AFC Championship, Chiefs versus Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals winning this one over the Chiefs. I really think that they have this momentum going. They beat the Chiefs earlier in the season, like week 17, I believe it was when they beat the Chiefs. I think the Bengals are going to easily win this one, and I think it's going to be a fun game to watch also.
It all depends on how the Chiefs defense plays because in week 17, they could not guard not Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. He had almost 300 yards, almost as many yards as Patrick Mahomes did throwing the ball. So the Chiefs need to get pressure on him. They need to get at least 3 to 4 sacks, get Joe Burrow off his spot in order to win this matchup. So I think I'll take the Chiefs.
Rams versus 49ers. Now, this is a matchup that has been divisional rivals. It's a huge game for both of them. But the 49ers have had the Rams number. I believe they're 6-0 in the past 6 games against them. The Rams, no matter how bad this 49ers team has been, they haven't been able to keep up with them. The Rams have just been like the Rams just haven't been able to do anything against the 49ers. and that's why I'm going to take the 49ers if George Kittle and Deebo Samuel are both healthy, of which it looks like that will be the case.
The key to this game is going to be Matthew Stafford. Both games earlier in the year, he has thrown 2 picks, and several of them technically game sealing. In the first game, he threw a pick six that put the game from a 1-score game to a 2-score game. And then the second game in overtime, he threw a pick in overtime to seal the win for the 49ers. So if Stafford comes out and plays like he did last weekend, I think the Rams will win this one, and we'll have a Chiefs-Rams Super Bowl.
So now that's the NFL for today, but now we're on the NBA All-Star picks. The big shocker of the day was Andrew Wiggins becoming an All-Star starter. He's having a good season. I do think he should have been an All-Star, but an All-Star starter, something that many other players would have deserved over him for him having an 18-point average season. I think that's a bit out there.
Yeah, I think so also. 18 points per game, and he is technically the third option on that team. I'm surprised not to see Devin Booker on the starting lineup. Um, always disrespecting him.
And LeBron James has made his 18th straight All-Star game. No other player has even come close to that. And I think if he gets one more, he'll tie Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for most All-Star appearances, and he will have done that all in a row, which is nearly unheard of. It shows the fact that LeBron is something special to the game. I mean, he's changed the game forever. As popularity-wise, he has become truly the definition of a superstar.
Yeah, he's just like Tom Brady in the NFL. They are playing longer and longer. They're taking care of their bodies, and it's really a testament to what LeBron James does on a day-to-day basis to keep himself in tip-top shape to play this well this late into his career, which most players have not been able to do.
Now we're on to DeMar DeRozan, Chicago Bears, or not Chicago Bears, a player for the Chicago Bulls, who was deemed the worst uh, offseason signing by multiple experts. Now, I don't think they might look as high and mighty as they were in the offseason. DeMar DeRozan made the NBA All-Star game as an All-Star starter, which I think is insane, even though he was considered a horrible offseason signing, and he has just really turned around this Bulls team.
Yeah, he's definitely been a big surprise for the Bulls. I didn't think he would be that great of a signing, but he has played like an MVP for this team when he has played, and he has helped lead this team into the number 2 seed currently in the East. So he's definitely deserving of such.
So that's all the national news we have for you today. See you guys next Friday on the Sports Shield podcast.